Hey guys, it's your Bo the Doggo, and welcome back to Amorous, where we are about to date JAX, or we even started to date JAX. I also just noticed that this shows my actual time. I didn't know that before. But anyways, let's continue. Oh, someone's calling. Is it really? No. But we should call JAX, because in the last episode we dated him, or we went on a date with him, and this time we're going to dinner with him if I recall. After we parted ways, I walked back to my place. JAX was definitely an interesting guy, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more going on that it was more on than I was aware of. Either way, I must have been lost in my own thoughts when I came to the door, because Kobe almost immediately pounced on me. I was wondering when you were getting back. You took so long I had to assume it was more than a coffee, so tell me everything. For a small guy, Kobe always managed to catch me off guard. I settled him down and we sat at a table. It was just a date, okay? I admit it was a date. Are you happy now? Kobe beamed. He always knew when I was hiding something, even when I didn't. So, Dish, tell me, what did you two lovebirds do? We're not in love. I could feel my face heating up as Kobe continued to grin like a Cheshire cat. I'd better tell him something, or he'll never leave me alone. We shared a muffin, we saw a movie, we just know. We saw a movie. The muffin is special between me and JAX. We saw a movie. The Eastwood was just down the street, so we grabbed a ticket for a matinee. We had some popcorn and enjoyed ourselves. That's it. Really? Just a movie? No kisses in the darkened room or maybe reaching for some popcorn? Because you're blushing awfully hard for just a movie. I'm not going to let you live vicariously through me, Kobe. Besides, don't you get enough dates yourself? But it's you! I haven't seen you go out and have fun in like forever. I want to hear about it because I'm your bro. I like knowing you're happy. He gave me the puppy dog eye and I just melted. Kobe was always there for me. Even when I wanted to hang out or just needed to talk, it wasn't fair to hold back. Alright. We had coffee, we went to a movie, and we kissed. Nothing with tongue or anything. Just a peck. So what's he like? I know lots of people at the bar really like him. He's always so enthusiastic and flirty and so cute. I'd be jealous. He was different at the start. Much quieter and more reserved. I wonder if I did something wrong at first. Nah, he's probably just like you and doesn't get out much. I mean, he's at the bar almost every night until 3. Not that I stay up that late, of course. Of course, I was hoping it was just first date jitters. I know I was feeling a little anxious, still do even afterwards. It was like meeting a different person. Well, that just means you need to see him again so you can get to know him better. You are going to see him again, right? Yeah, we set a date, let me call me, having second thoughts. No second thoughts. We set the date because we are going to have dinner. Yeah, we talked for a while after the movie and I suggested dinner over at the place around the corner. I've been wanting to try it out for a while. Oh, romantic. Candlelight dinner? Maybe some wine? I felt my cheek flush and glowered at him until he stopped. Sorry, I'm just really happy for you. It's so cute, thinking about you two together. You're not helping me feel less awkward about this, you know? Kobe continued to barrage me with questions about my first date until I managed to distract him with his own romantic life. As he went on and on about his conquest, I found myself half listening. Part of me kept thinking about JAX, the kiss at the theater and the chat at the coffee before it. I might be a little rusty about dating, but there's something JAX isn't telling me. Even more revealing, I wanted to know what it was. Seeing the look on his face, watching him brightening a shade or two, I couldn't stop thinking about it all. I hadn't felt this way about someone in a long time. Hello? I was paying attention. No, you weren't. You were like a million miles away, likely with someone else. He was right, of course. Seems like JAX had more of an impression than I thought. Still, it wasn't any good to dwell on it. I couldn't compress my entire dating life into a single day. Let's just do something else. I need to distract myself for a while. Ooh, what if we... Fortunately, Kobe was more than willing to distract me, as were a number of chores I hadn't been neglecting. Between getting my backside wet at video games, cleaning up messes and grabbing something for dinner, it was after 10 and I was too tired to worry. Kobe said some quick goodbyes as he ducked out the door in his club gear and I flopped into bed. It was nearly midnight when my phone started ringing. I forgot it to silence it before passing out and I struggled to grab it from the nightstand. Blinking myself awake, I swiped to answer and held the phone to my ear. Hello? I couldn't hear anything on the other end for a moment, save for a roaring crowd and at least a dozen background conversations. It sounded like someone was trying to talk to me, but I could only hear snippets above the din. Finally I heard some sounds of movement and a door opening. The background noises grew muffled, and I could finally make out the voice.
Can you hear me now?
Jax, why are you calling in the middle of the night? Or is something wrong? There was a pause, longer than I really felt comfortable. At first I thought the connection had dropped, but I soon heard the resigned sigh from the other end.
One of the bartenders got sick and can't work for the rest of the week. I didn't want to tell you this, but I didn't have a chance to step away until now. I don't get the real meal break until later.
My heart sank a little. Was this real or was he just backing off again? I found myself getting a little angry at him, but I realized he wouldn't be calling me in the middle of the night just to keep me at arm's length.
I'm sorry, I really am. I was looking forward to it. It's been forever since I last had a nice sit-down meal. I usually have to make do with whatever I can reheat in the kitchen from last night.
What's on the menu? Are you at the club? You could have called me in the morning. No, what's on the menu? What's on the menu tonight then?
Tonight I have a lovely boxed mac and cheese, aged for 3 weeks on the shelf. It got a robust neon flavor, with hints of carbon and memory for being in college.
Wow, sounds delicious. We both chuckled at Jack's flowery description for a moment before settling back into the awkward silence. Maybe I was thinking out loud, but when he said,
"This isn't an excuse,"
it caught me off guard. It was my concern, but to address it so directly, I spluttered into the phone, suggesting that I hadn't even considered it. Still, he seemed to have a pretty clear read on me.
I know I come off a little distant yesterday, but I really had fun. I wanted to see what was in store for our next date.
Next date? He was actually considering that? My cheek flushed a little as a grin spread across my lips. So, we are actually dating? It wasn't just a casual muffin?
Well, yeah. I don't spit muffin with every cute person who walks into the door and takes me out for a coffee. I'd never keep up with my girlish figure if that was the case.
My sense of ease was interrupted by the sounds of noise spilling into the background as someone shouting over the din.
I know. I'm finishing up now. I'm sorry, Bo. I gotta go.
Jack scrambled to the end of the call and left me sitting upright in bed, staring at my phone. All the anxiety I had been having from before seemed so silly now. He wanted to see me again. He even said he did. Who knows when we might have the chance though. I thought I'd try to call him back. Maybe he could steal away a moment or two and we can have lunch or something tomorrow. He isn't picking up. Maybe he can't hear his phone. Or maybe he's busy. I suppose I could always drop by the club. Couldn't you just text him so he could read it when he's, can't reach his phone? Oh, do I want to leave a message or do I want to... So, leaving a message should... That way he can hear it later. By going to the club he might think I'm too clingy and, getting into trouble with his boss or so. Oh, goddamn. No, I'm going to leave a message. Hey Jax, it's Bo. I was hoping to get a hold of you and see if you might be free for lunch tomorrow. Sure, it's not a nice dinner, but we could still get a chance to meet up. Anyways, call me back when you get a chance. Of course, now that I was awake, all I could do was to stare at the clock and my phone. So much for a good night's sleep, I suppose. Fortunately, it didn't take long before Jax called back.
Hey, sorry I had to go. Busy night. I just stole away a few seconds here to get back to you.
So, did you get my message? I was thinking we could just do a lunch thing tomorrow. Not quite as good as a romantic date, but we could chat a bit more.
I'd love to, but I'm here until 5 and then I'm back again at 2 in the next day. Our missing person was an opening shift.
If I didn't know better, I'd assume you were actively avoiding me. No, don't say that!
You worry too much. Why not drop by the club? I'm getting a break in a little while. It's not a dinner or a fancy restaurant, but I can try to dig up another box of mac and cheese.
I do like new flavor. It's got a soup cone of cheapness and desperation that makes for a good work lunch.
I'd love to see you again, even if it's for just half an hour. I'm pretty sure they can keep the girls at bay for at least that long.
He'd love to see me again. I couldn't help but grin. Jax liked me at least as much as I liked him, and maybe more. It's a date!
Great! See you when you get here. Just come up to the bar and ask for me. I'll tear myself away from customers long enough to meet up with you.
Ooh. Jax hurriedly hung up and I scrambled out of bed to throw some clothes off. If I wanted to make it to his break, I had to rush out the door. With traffic being almost non-existent, it was easy enough to get to the club in record time. After wrestling with the car to slip into the only space remaining, I hoofed it to the front door and made my way inside. Ooh, that's my boy. The place was packed from wall to wall and I could barely hear anyone over the music and the crowd. Seeing the sorority girls Jax had mentioned invited a few friends over throughout the night.
Hey girls, it's fresh meat, and not a bad-looking one at that. Woo! Take off your tops!
I spluttered in place as the girl bounced in front of me, sloshing her drink around. It was pretty clear from her expression that it wasn't her first.
Come on, cut loose! Woo! We're all here to party! You should come join us! I just know Monica would be into you.
I tried to bow out, shouting over the noise as she began to tug on my arm and yank me into the direction of her booth. I desperately looked around for JAX or anyone else I recognized as she pulled me into the table scattered with shot glasses. Oh no.
Shots! 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 Woo!
As I was about to down one of them just to get them to let go, one of the bartenders from the last night tapped me on the shoulder. He gave me a wink and nudged me back as he laid out a whole new array of beverage for an enthusiastic crowd. They seemed to forget about me for the moment and snagged each of their alcoholic fruit salads off the tray. Sorry about that. They be getting a little rowdy. Follow me. The two of us made it through the club and back to the main bar. He lifted a small separator and ushered me past and through the swinging kitchen door. While it was a bit darker back here, it was also much quieter. There, now I don't have to shout. You're Bo, right? JAX has been complaining about having to work tomorrow since the start of his shift. He told us you might be dropping by. Seems like he's pretty fond of you. Aw, he's talking about me. He gave me a bit of an elbow nudge and I stammered back at him. I didn't expect his co-workers to be so aware of his dating life. I just tried to smile and not feel too awkward about someone knowing more about me than I did about them. Yeah, we hit off pretty well. Good to see him dating again. Been trying to burn himself in work for too long. Heck, it's just his luck that the one day he asked off this week is when Mitch gets sick. He led me back to an empty prep table in the back of the kitchen. A couple of abused bar stools served as chairs. He motioned to one of them and smiled. I'll let him know you're back here. After I got settled, he stepped back into the club. My head was spinning. In 5 minutes, I learned more about JAX's past than I had over our whole first date. Still, his initial reaction to me outside the bar made a little more sense, though I still didn't know what had actually happened. I felt a little awkward in the relative quiet. Fortunately, I didn't have to wait too long. JAX came through the door in the club and waved. He paused at an industrial microwave and punched a couple of buttons. A few moments and a sharp ding later, he produced 2 small bowls of steaming mac and cheese, setting one down for me and one for himself. It had clearly been a long night for JAX, as his shipper attitude was waning and his stomach was audibly rumbling. It made me wonder if he had a chance to grab something to eat since this morning. I hate to be blunt, but I'm starving. Do you mind if we just jump in? Not at all. I nibbled at my food while JAX waffled his down. I asked about his day, how he was doing now, and the two of us exchanged pleasantries as we ate. I still couldn't put what the other bartender had said out of my head, nor the awkwardness of him knowing my name without knowing his. JAX must have sensed it, as he set down his food and smiled. Much better. Sorry, but if I don't get something to eat, I tend to collapse around this point. I know it's not much, but I'm glad to actually get to share a meal with someone instead of eating alone. It can get depressing. Doesn't matter if it's pickles and ice cream. I'm here for company first, and food second. You sure know how to make a guy feel good about offering his date boxed mac and cheese. Sitting across the table, my mind wandered back to what the other bartender said. It seemed clear that JAX was at least interested in me. So why was he so quiet when we first met? I didn't want to pry, but I had to know. Dude. JAX, I needed to ask you something. It's been bothering me for a while now. What's that? Yesterday, you were like a different person at the start. Quiet, reserved, unsure. Here, though, you are a showman. Your coworker mentioned that you hadn't been dating for a while. I don't like going and just being like right out there. No, never mind. You want to know why I'm acting this way? Why I was standoffish? I do. I know it's silly, but it's the first time I've been dating in a while. It seems like there's something going on and I'm worried it's me. Couldn't come further from the truth. Fact is, you're only the second guy I've dated. Really? Considering how often you get hit on working here, I'd just be overwhelmed with how many people have wanted to hook up with me. He chuckled and shook his head, looking back at me with a smile. Like I said before, I'm not in for it for the one-night stands. I like the romantic too. That's why I mostly dated women before. It's easy to wine and dine them, go out and dancing and having a good time. I feel like guys have different expectations, at least in my experience. Expectations? Regardless, what do you think I want out of this that you're scared of? The first guy I was with was back in college. Driven guy, very ambitious. He got straight A's in all of his classes, involved in nearly every group on campus, and he wound up tutoring me in math. We got to know each other, and then one night He leans over and kisses me full on the lips. He blushed and rubbed his cheek lightly, glanced between the table and the floor to hide his expression. Of course his scale has already begun to shift to Ruddle you. It wasn't really like an aha, I'm gay moment. I know I like both, but it was intoxicating. It was like being new to the whole thing again. We were tight throughout the 2 last years of school. He'd always take me out to fancy places and buy me stuff. It was fun in a sort of materialistic way. Yeah, it's nice to get pampered and taken care of sometimes. But why would that worry you so much? Even if it does, I'm unemployed, so it's probably boxed wine and more of mac and cheese in our future. He chuckled for a moment and smiling over me before his expression faded and his scales darkened. I've been working odd jobs to help pay tuitions and other costs, mostly waiting jobs in restaurants since tips could give me an extra cash I needed for my day-to-day stuff. After a while, I finally really liked it. The showmanship, performing in front of an audience. Yeah, it was pretty clear from the first time I met you. I've never seen anyone more comfortable with being in the center of attention than you. He grinned as he shifted into a more solid blue, playfully adjusting his tie. The smile fell a little as the sight passed his lips and he continued. He didn't though. Said it was a waste of time, that I never make any money that way or go anywhere important. That's when the fight started. I broke it off and we went separate ways. I went back to girls and he... Well, last I heard, he was off in New York somewhere with a law firm or an investment bank or something. So, branching out a little, dating that guy, it kind of threw you for a loop? It's not that, it's just that he was my first, and I guess I assumed most guys were going to be like him. Working in a bar, I saw how most guys approach women and I figured that was the norm. So I just dove into what I loved. I get to flirt here and there, maybe have dinner with an attractive woman or a guy, and not get judged for doing what I want to do in my life. Oh, Jax, you're so pure. I guess you're just the first guy to come along since then. So I'm kind of learning more about how he used to be isn't exactly how every guy is. In a room full of people trying to be seen, you stood out the most to me. You sweet talky you. I'm not your ex, and I don't think that's really a gender issue. And I'm certainly not someone who wants to get into your skimpy and very flattering briefs. I called you because I wanted to get to know you, beyond your abilities to mix drinks and flirt. Believe me, I know. For one thing, he never visited me at work. For another, he never instigated anything he didn't already want to do. We sat and chatted for a short while, talking about the past and a little about the present. Unfortunately, it wasn't long before the kitchen door swung open once more. Jack's co-worker shuffled in and looking quite haggard. Jax, the girls out here are about to start a bar brawl if you don't come back out. They said you're the only one who knows how to slice a mango with the sexy. Both of us snickered before turning back to each other. Give me a second to clean up. Tell them I'm grabbing all the medals I could want. The bartender nodded and smiled in relief before heading back into the main room. The two of us took the time to clean up and chat a little bit more. Once we finished with the dishes, Jax turned to me with a resigned smile. Well, seems like my Publix awaits. Sorry to cut the date so short. The downside of being a working stiff these days. It's alright. Not like ample free time from unemployed is doing me much good. I'm just glad we could get some more time together. It's flattering, really, considering how much in demand you seem to be. Wouldn't have it any other way. I'm a total attention whore. I couldn't help but chuckle. It was comfortable to see the confident, sharp-dressed guy who served my first drink again. He always looked his best in his bluest. I expect a third date, you know. Maybe a 3.5 date, considering this one wasn't really as much fun as our first. I'll try to make it a little more interesting than the back of the kitchen at your work. Next time I'll bring muffins and fireworks. Just know that's setting the bar pretty high. He winked at me and took a step back to leave. I could feel the pull, the attraction of the moment that lingered between us. Like there was more to say or do. Maybe it was just me wanting more time with him. Yes, stop and kiss him. Before he could walk away, I placed a hand gently on his shoulder. Once he turned, I leaned in close and pressed my lips firmly against his. He immediately melted into the kiss, his eyes fluttering shut as he pressed his body close to mine. The two of us held the moment as long as we could, tongues touches as our hands clutched each other tightly. Reluctantly, I pulled away and stroked his cheek softly. You know, you can expect better than that on our next date. Wow, I didn't think I could look forward to it more than I already did. He coughed lightly and adjusted himself, his skimpy brief at height. He kissed me gently on the cheek and strode back into the club. Good night, handsome. Standing there, pulse pounding in the darkened kitchen, I felt more comfortable and confident than I had in a while. I ducked out the back door to avoid the crowds and made my way back to the car. Now that I knew the feeling was mutual and the third date was going to be something monumental, at least that was my intention. Now I just had to deal with Kobe badgering me for more details. It was kind of fun to being the one with something to talk about instead of him, and the story of a kiss like that one had to be shared. Congratulations, you're like that someone likes your achievement. Woo! Okay guys, that was our second date with JAX, and what it seems to be is only gonna be one more date before stuff happens, if you get my drift. But anyway guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you haven't already and want to see the next episode or any of my other videos, subscribe. And also I got a Patreon if you want to check it out and want to support me. But anyways guys, take care and I'll see you in the next video. JAX.